Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Jesse, and yeah, it's just morning. And today we are facing Scefernape in week 3 of the IFC, the International Fighting Club, I think it's called. Yeah, that's what the abbreviation stands for. We're facing Scefernape, one of my oldest friends in the Draft League format. So yeah, let's get right into it, I'd say. Says he's a really threatening team. I lead off with I don't really remember what I lead off with. I lead off with my Shifu, as he leads off with Comfy and like a great lead at the start. I'm going Gliscor here. I predicted Draining Kiss, and Gliscor can just get his Toxic Orb off. I don't predict he's gonna knock off, especially since I could go into my Arceus Poison, which is probably what he would think I'd go into, and now I can knock off something. And I get rid of the leftovers on Buzzwole. So a pretty good start. I go into Granbull because Granbull's my designated Buzzwole counter as he Earthquakes. I'm gonna take a sip of my water real quick because my throat's kind of dry. Apologies. Okay. Anyways, he goes into Venusaur as I Seismic Toss. I just want to get some chip damage, get some of my leftovers back. Always nice. I go into Arceus Poison. I don't know what he's gonna click here, so I'm like, oh. Click Sludge Bomb as like I thought he probably would. We're going to Gliscor, see what he's gonna do. Earthquake, Sleep Powder. Covers both and he does Sleep Powder. So I'm like, okay, great, but I don't really have anything to hit this thing, so that's kind of problematic. So I go into Aldino as he clicks Giga Drain. I'm like, yeah, well, that's not that big of a threat, is it? I can just go back into Gliscor as I think I do right here. Yeah, I just go back into Gliscor. I'm like, Gliscor 1v1s this, I can like PP stall him. Here, protect, see if he has Ice Punch. Even if he doesn't show it, I'm still gonna switch out. And I go into Granbull on, I think his Ice Punch again. He does not have anything for Granbull on his Buzzwole, so that is really nice. It's actually great. So yeah, here I click Play Rough, and I'm like, okay. I thought he was going to switch over, and I was going to click Stone Edge, but I didn't. But it doesn't matter, because you know what I'm going to click here? You know, it's Stone Edge. He turns out to be Live Orb Special Flamethrower, so he does a lot of damage, because I'm fully physical. But I do end up connecting, and I don't really have much attack investment, but you don't really need that when it's 4 times super effective. When we knock out the home, like, okay, that's great. That's really good. I do Pack to Protect on my set as well. Why? Because I can get some extra leftovers back, which is pretty useful. He clicks Volt Switch. Here I'm like, I don't know what he's going to do. He might HP Ice. I don't know what set he is. So I go into Aldino as he Volt Switches again. I'm like, okay, fine. He now goes into Buzzwole, and I'm like, yeah, well, here's the problem. Granbull was my switch into Buzzwole, but Granbull's kind of screwed. And I'm like, he's not going to Drain Punch if I have both a Granbull and a Gliscor. I'm just going to Wish. And you know what happens when I Wish and go to Granbull now? He can't kill Granbull unless he uses Poison Jab, which he probably doesn't have because he would have clicked it before, and Granbull barely hangs on and manages to get the Wish from Aldino, which is just perfect and amazing. Now, I stand with Granbull, click Seismic Toss because that's like the only thing Granbull could have to, or like put on its set to really hit the Mega Venusaur, so I just put it on there and it's like good chip on really anything. The only thing it isn't good chip damage on is on the Dragapult. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about that. I go into Gliscor because that's like my switching. Do knockoff, doesn't do much, but it doesn't really matter that it doesn't do that much. So yeah, we're just sitting in here, and it's gonna be a little bit of a stall fest, right? So, gonna put it on normal for a second. Clicks Giga Drain again, and I'm like, okay, he's doing pretty decent amount of damage. Let me just protect here, get that nice 20% poison, or 12%, apologies. Poison heal back, and knock off again, get a little bit of chip on him. I'm like, oh, he's winning this, and I can't roost, because then I'll be ground type, and he'll just do like 70%, so that's really bad. So I'm like, this isn't the greatest counter, apparently. So I get into my Mew, and I'm like, I'm gonna scare him out with like a Psychic, but I do not pack Psychic on this set, which is kind of stupid. But I do have Toxic, so that is really nice to have, always. Toxic is a great thing to have. Here I go into Aldino, can't risk my Gliscor getting HPIs. as he does go into his Dragapult. I'm like, that's not the greatest. I can take any one hit from this, so I'm just gonna knock off, get rid of his item, do some damage, you know. Here I'm just gonna stall out a Giga Drain, because I need to stall out his Giga Drain so he can't hit Gliscor anymore. And I go into Arceus Poison, predicting him to really do whatever. I don't really know what he's gonna do, as he Sleep Powders, which, like, yeah, sucks for him. I am physical with Poison Jab because I think he has a Blissey. Yeah, he's a Blissey on his team, so I'm not gonna run special versus Blissey, I'll tell you that much. Or not. I don't know. He has some kind of wall that doesn't allow me to run special against him. Makes me have to run physical. He Dragon Dances as I switch in on, I hope that was Draco. And I found out this mon is Clear Body. I'm like, oh dude, I'm so screwed. That is really bad. But I play rough, and he switched out knowing that he probably can't kill Granbull with like Phantom Force. I protect again, trying to stall out another Giga Drain, but he synthesis, so. And I go back into Arceus. It's really not much to commentate on here, so I'm just gonna put it on fast. A lot of switching, trying to get my Gliscor back up to HP. Here I stay in, because I'm like, I'm physically defensive Gliscor, and he seems to be a physical attacker, so I'm like, what am I doing not staying in? And he does 0%. So here I roost, I'm like, dude, I'm getting my HP back. Why wouldn't I get my HP back? And I'm back up to full. He Phantom Forces, I knock off, I protect, and I make the great mistake in protecting, because I now realize, wait, Phantom Force breakthrough protection, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna attack this, I need to attack this. And here I'll protect again on the Giga Drain, stall out another one of his Giga Drains. He's already at 7 out of... He only has 7 of his 16 Giga Drains left, so he's getting lower and lower by the minute. So it's really nice, so I just knock off, protect again, already at 5. So now he sees like, wait, get away, okay, good. Now he sees, look, he's at 4 already. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this back on normal now. Slow, like I always have, so I can commentate on it. Keeps Giga Drain, now he sees, oh, I'm 3, this is gonna be bad. I go into Aldino, because I'm like, he's not gonna Sludge Bomb. He's probably gonna Giga Drain, as he goes into Jolteon to threaten me out. Here I'm like, yeah, I don't really care, I'm just gonna stay in. I know he can't do much to me, because he didn't before. And I just wish, I'm like, yeah, let me get some HP back on something, that wouldn't be pretty good, wouldn't it? So I go into Gliscor, I assume this mon can't really touch me, because it is Leech Seed, so it probably is like Defog, Draining Kiss. Draining Kiss probably for like 3 as Draining Kiss to priority kill my Urshifu. Here, just staying. I go to Mew here, as he reveals to not have Leech Life, as I go into Granbull predicting a Leech Life, and he clicks, he goes into Comfy, so I'm like, what? Does he not have Leech Life? And, well, of course, he might be keeping it a secret for later to just one-shot my Mew. So I'm like, I'm still skeptical, but Granbull with like lots of protects and just leftovers has almost gotten back up to full again. As I go into Mew, because Mew can kind of wall this, I think. I think my set is like Toxic, Taunt, Nightshade, and Roost, or Stuff Bowl. I miss my Toxic, which kind of sucks, but it's kind of whatever. Like, on the other hand, Comfy's like not a threat at all, so I go back into Gliscor, predicting him to go into like Buzzle or Dragapult, but he goes into Dragapult, and I'm like, that's great if he goes into Dragapult. I just knock off again, and I see I unlocked up his leftovers were already gone, so it doesn't really do any damage. I go back into Granbull, because Granbull's my designated counter, and yeah, this game's just really stally. But he freezes me, so I'm like, okay. You can see he does like 20% with Earthquake. I can just stay in, get some falling turns, so and get some leftovers back. So Granbull's still at pretty much full, and I know Buzzwole probably doesn't have any setup moves. I go into Gliscor here to, as I see his leftovers. I go into Aldino here on the HBIs. I'm like, he keeps Volt Switching. Why not? I'll just go for style, you know? Get like that extra 18% on Jolteon, which is really nice. And while I'm in with Aldino, I click Toxic as he goes into Buzzwole. I'm like, okay, good. He doesn't have any leftovers. The only real way he has to regenerate health now is getting Leech Seed off with this, and then switching to Buzzwole. He missed his Leech Seed here, which, like, yeah, it's not that bad, but he clicks Aromatherapy, and I'm like, oh no, that's so bad, because now I can't really Toxic stuff. So I just click Knockoff here, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I go into Granbull as he clicks Close Combat. So yeah, that would have definitely been really bad if if I stayed in there. So yeah, good idea I didn't stay in there. I go into Mew, cause like I'm like, does he have anything for Mew? Here I go back into Granbull, lure his attack again. I'm like, I can switch into Mew for like once. Goes back into his Jolteon. I go back into my Arduino, because Arduino walls Jolteon pretty much. No, not just pretty much, it just walls Jolteon. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna protect, see what he's doing. I clicks EQ. And I go into Mew here as he close combat. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Does he have anything from Mew? I'm just gonna softball here if he has Leech Life. I think I softball here. I'm like, if he has Leech Life, I'll take one Leech Life. I'll be very damaged, but I can always heal back up on like something like what is it called? The Comfort. He clicks Shadow Ball here. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of bad. And here I just click softball. I'm like, if he doesn't crit me, it's fine. And he's probably gonna predict me to go into Aldino on the Shadow Ball, so as he kind of does. He goes back into Buzzwole. I go into Granbull on a Leech Life potentially because I haven't seen his last move yet. But he Earthquakes, so I'm like, I can just go back into Mew. And at this point, I'm like, he doesn't have Leech Life. He can't have Leech Life. That'd be so weird. I Nightshade here, get some chip damage off. Nightshade's like the same as Seismic Toss, but it can hit Dragapult, and he didn't have a normal type, so it's the better choice in this case. Go back into Aldino, it's kind of the same. For like the rest of the game. A lot of switching, it wasn't the most exciting game. I go into Gliscor, just like Gliscor doesn't take anything. If it's like unboosted, my Poison heals back one of the unboosted Dragon Darts. I knock off here, getting rid of Comfy's leftovers, which is like, pretty good. I go into Aldino, I'm like, dude, I can get up a Wish, get like Granbull back to like good amounts of HP. Because like Granbull has to keep on good amount of HP because I need it to thaw. Otherwise it can't beat Buzzwole if it keeps being frozen. Here Earthquakes and Granbull now gets a Wish back plus leftovers, and Granbull goes back up to full, and I'm like, that's good. I try to thaw for a turn, but it doesn't really work that well. He goes for Dragon Dance, predictable. I mean, like, yeah, I'm frozen, so I can't really hit him. He goes for Phantom Force here, I knock off, of course. He goes for Phantom Force again, and I knock off again, because I just want this mon gone. I'm not taking any risk, I'm back at 71%, like, he goes for Outrage, which is like, wow, he's the tech Outrage, so like, he tricks me into, Dragon Dart doesn't kill me, Outrage just destroys me. Here on the Jolteon, I'm like, dude, what do I... He still has leftovers, but like, what do I lose by clicking Protect? I get 12% extra, and if he stays in HP Ice the next turn, because I thought he'd full switch probably, but like, I wasn't sure, then he loses 6%, because he gets minus 12 plus 6 from the leftovers, minus 12 from poison. Here I set up another Wish, because I'm like, yeah, why not? Anything that comes in will keep being healthy. And at this point, it's pretty much over. He doesn't really have, he has shown that he doesn't really have anything that can break me, so I'm just going to put it on fast real quick. He crits me with Sludge Bomb, which is pretty good for him, for his Venusaur. If I switch in Mew, because I'm like, yeah, Mew can take a lot of hits, I'm like, I gotta go Arceus Poison, stall out a couple of turns, because I really need Gliscor to have some more HP. Go into Granbull on the Buzzwole, as he Earthquakes. I finally thaw, and I get a good 69 percentage chip damage. And he clicks Ice Punch and freezes me the first time again. I'm like, what? How's that luck? He crits me again with an Earthquake on Mew. I'm like, dude, stop it. I typed in chat, hey, stop that. So I softballed up twice. It's not that big of a deal. And I see his last move is Roost. That was probably its Urshifu counter. I mean, it is pretty good Urshifu counter, because like Urshifu's main stats both get resisted. So yeah, it's pretty much the end of the game now. He goes into his Jolteon. I click Nightshade and Jolteon's like almost dead. He can't heal that up. Here I click Soft Bolt because I think he's just gonna go for suicide, kill me, suicide attack to try and kill me. I go into Aldino, predicting the Shadow Ball. Otherwise I'll switch out, get my Regenerator back so he can't really hurt me. Go back into Mew on the Buzzwole. It's just 32, dude. I'm like max physically defensive Mew. Buzzwole is a strong boy. Buzzwole is a strong boy, I'll tell you that much. I Toxic on the Buzzwole as he clicks Ice Punch. Now I, how do you call it? I, Softball on the Buzzwole. And I Softball again on the Buzzwole. I'm like, I gotta keep this at good HP, I can't get frozen for like no reason. I'll go to Arceus Poison. Sponge a hit with him. Make him like predict, and at this point he's like, yeah, there's no point in really me playing anymore, which is fair. Like, he has lost at this point, so the game's pretty much over. So yeah, I'm just gonna put in a Hyper Fast real quick to not waste your time. Clicks Draining Kiss, I click Nightshade, I just spam Nightshade to just get him down. He clicks Draining Kiss again, like he could have Synthesis or something, but it doesn't matter at this point. It just prolongs the game. He gets the poison here with his Sludge Bomb poison. I'm like, oh, I don't want this. Come on, what is this dumb stuff? I just wait till I wake up with Arceus because he can't hit me. Only to Giga Drain Sludge Bomb. I'm like, I'm gonna get my recover. And here I click Poison Jab. It doesn't even do that much. Like, well, and I click Poison Jab and Arceus wins the game. So GG's to Scefernape, a very good player, very good friend of mine too. So. GG's to him. Next week, in week 4, we play Starting Pig in the Wellington Ho-Ohs. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. So yeah. Anyways, as you said, yeah, GG's and till week 4. Bye and